Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council. And on Designing Your Life today, let's talk about what would you do if you had no fear. As we start to wrap up our Summer Success Series, remember it was only 6 weeks of information to help you reinforce and refresh and reignite the goals that you set, get back on track or stay on track, and to keep moving forward. Now, I have added several downloads on designingyourlifetoday.com/success series that you could download absolutely free. You don't even have to opt in. If you want to opt in to get on my newsletter for some of the things that we have coming up, then when the box pops up, you can go ahead and put your information in there, or go to designingyourlifetoday.com/power up today, or simply scroll down to the show notes and click on the links and you can get on my email list. So with that being said, let's get on with today's podcast. So what would you do if you had no fear? How much would you accomplish? What would you be doing in your life right now? What would you really go for if you said, you know what, I'm not afraid, I'm just going for it. I'm just going to make it happen. You're not even worried about whether you'll succeed or whether you'll fail or whatever. You're just going to go for it. What would you be doing? This is something that you may want to consider listing. Write down some of the things that you would be doing. You know, I've done that, and I can tell you it's a good feeling to see, well, first of all, it's a good feeling to see that some of the things that I would be doing, I'm already doing it. But on the other hand, there is so much more that I can do. There's some other things that if I didn't, and I can't say I'm really afraid. I don't know. I have to think about that. But let's just say, I think anything that slows us down and keeps us from moving forward at the speed we're capable of moving, that doesn't include something physical and it's mental, then I do think it's centered around some type of fear that's holding us back and saying, you know what, I don't know how this is going to work out. How is this going to play out? But the beautiful part is when you're able to make a list of what you would be doing if you weren't afraid, the beautiful part is you become more aware of how much you're getting done, but also how much you're not getting done and how much you're holding yourself back and how truly capable you are. Hopefully this will inspire you to make some commitments to yourself and to promise yourself that, you know what, I'm going to go for it no matter what. So with that being said, it is always good to become aware of what you're doing to hold yourself back, but also what's being done to you that's holding you back. And so what I mean by that is that we spend more time kind of bringing awareness to crimes and different diseases and even gossip about, someone got caught doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and other evils. Then we spend time actually strengthening our own power, becoming aware of our power, getting to know ourselves better and understanding how God made us. Because here's the thing, when you spend more time making that strong connection to who you really are and how you're really built, because you're built by design to win, then you would be aware of what's really holding you back, and you'll find that it is fear. So I want to encourage you to make a list. And one of the things I want to share with you, or some of the things I want to share with you, is what you can do about this fear that's holding you back. I know in order to make people feel good, people go, oh, it's natural to feel afraid. And you know what? It probably is. I don't know. However, I will say this, because we haven't been given a spirit of fear, then the question becomes, why do we have that spirit of fear? Why is fear stopping us? What's going on with that? And of course, the rest of that scripture explains it, that we've been given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's what's happening. What's happening is, as I said a few moments ago, we have not spent any time understanding how truly powerful we are, how truly capable we are. We spend more time thinking about what we can't do. And you know what? This is a very recent story, and it kind of illustrates the point. And it just actually happened today. I was in the grocery store. And when I was in the grocery store, they just so happened to have blackberries for 99 cents. So, of course, they're trying to get rid of the blackberries before they go bad. Because blackberries, they rot fairly quickly. So they had them for 99 cents. Normally, they're $4.99 or $5.99. So with that being said, I stopped. As soon as you walk in, you see it on the table. Great deal. I love blackberries. I grew up on a farm for the first part of my life, as a kid and a teenager. And we had blackberry bushes throughout the farm. And so when summertime came and they became ripe, then you know what? We would go and eat them, I guess, like it was candy, which would probably explain why I was so super healthy then. So, and I'm healthy now. It's just that it was, let's just say my sweet tooth was satisfied by blackberries. But back back to the story. So with that being said, when I walk in, I see these blackberries, and then there's a lady who walks in kind of at the same time. I stop at the table. She stops at the table, and she goes, "Oh, wow, these are 99 cents. It's such a good deal." And I don't know her. She doesn't know me. And then she started to complain about the fact that she couldn't eat them. Well, it's too bad I can't eat them. I wish I could. And she's going on and on about how she couldn't eat the blackberries. And I'm thinking, okay, I love them. You're kind of messing up my experience. I didn't say it out loud, but I'm thinking it in my head. But the point that I'm making is, okay, you're spending more time focusing on what you can't do, what you're not able to do. All right, so you can't eat blackberries. Why are you standing at a table complaining that you can't eat blackberries? How about go find something that you can eat? You see, so, and like I said, that kind of illustrates how we think about our abilities. We spend more time talking about what we're not capable of, what we can't do, what we don't like, who we don't like, and all of that. And I get it. Sometimes we want to share what we don't like, or I don't know how we're feeling. And I get that it's okay to do that. However, if it's taking you away from being your most powerful self, your best self, if it's taking you away from building your magnificent life and living that life, then perhaps it is more important to put your attention on to how powerful you are. As I said, what are you capable of doing? And see, let's go back to the blackberries. Even if she could eat them, let's say hypothetically she didn't like them. Okay, we don't all like the same things, which means we're not all capable of doing the same things. So instead of spending our time looking at what someone else can do and what we can't do, then why don't we look at what we can do? This is how you allow your power to come to the forefront. And so I'm saying all of that to say, as the scripture said, God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So this is how it works. If you have that spirit of fear that's plaguing you, that's stopping you, that's causing you not to move forward, that's causing you not to just summon your confidence and your courage and say, you know what, I'm going for it. If you're going through that, then that means you want to put your attention on your power. And it also means you want to develop your love, the love in you, your love energy. That's so important today. Most people don't realize that in order to achieve something, there has to be a kind of love that goes with it. There has to be a feeling of fulfillment that comes with that. And so when we don't understand how to use our love or how to let that love energy go forward, then it becomes very difficult for us to achieve our goals. But not only that, we've now, because we're not using that power, that energy that we have, we are now opening the door for fear. You see, if you are surrounded by the right kind of love, and you're allowing that to come forward, then fear, it doesn't stand a chance. As the scripture says, perfect love casteth out fear. So that tells you, if you are afraid, if you have a fear, you say, you know what, this is what I would be doing if I wasn't afraid. Then that tells you that you need to pay attention to what's really stopping you. And as I said, it's either because you don't recognize that you are powerful, that you are built by design to win. You are here to do life with power, not play small, or you don't recognize the fact that we spend more time talking about what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with everything. And when you're doing that, you're not focused on love. You're not focused on compassion. And you need to have these kinds of energies coming to the forefront in order for you to follow through and carry out your purpose. So think about that. Make that list and ask yourself, what is it in me that's stopping me? And of course, the third part is we have power, love, and then there's a sound mind. So a sound mind is pretty much discipline, which means where's your focus? And here's the thing, if you go back to power and love, and if you're developing those and you're working on those, see, here's the beautiful part. It doesn't have to be totally perfected in the beginning. You just have to have a desire to perfect it. And God's going to meet you halfway. So with that being said, when we talk about having a sound mind and having that discipline, with that comes focus. You see, when your power is in full effect, when your love energy is flowing, you are focused, because this is something that you are so engrossed in, so excited about, so engaged in, so fulfilled by, because you are actually sharing something that is the essence of you, or a part of your essence. And so think about that. When you meet someone for the first time, or for those of you, if you're married and you met someone for the first time, when you met your spouse the first time, all of a sudden, oh my goodness, this is the best man ever if you're female. And if you are and if you're a man, oh, this woman, she's amazing. And so you're thinking all these great things, and all of a sudden, you kind of tune out the whole world, okay? And you guys are just engrossed in each other. You're excited about each other. And so what are you doing? You're focused on each other. You're focused on the best parts of who you are. And of course, when things start to go south, that means you've taken your eye off the prize, okay? And you've tried to turn the prize into something ugly, and you're focused on what isn't good. Okay, and this is where fear comes in. So the point is, power, love, and a sound mind can help you stay on track, can help you follow through on the goals that you set. So as you finish up this year, anytime you find yourself not following through, you want to remind yourself and ask yourself these questions. Hey, you know what? Who is this helping? Who is this benefiting? And it doesn't have to benefit a million people. Okay, it can benefit just a small segment. It can benefit your family members, or it can benefit your friends, or yes, it can benefit just you, so that you can become better and follow through to actually carry out your purpose. So think about these kinds of things. So that's what you can do if fear is actually holding you back. And remember, and I know I'm giving you guys these scriptures because they're very powerful. And this is what helps me. If any fears pop up, and each time, I want to do something different, something new, something that I'm not quite sure how to do it, but I know I'm called to do it, or I'm supposed to do this, or I'm excited about doing it. All right, a little fear pops up. It's like, okay, what happens if you mess it up? So at that point, I still have to take the chance, and I have to remind myself of certain things. And one of which is another one of my favorite scriptures, is where where in the Bible, God was talking to Joshua. And I'm sharing this with you because you can go and look all these things up. And he says, be strong and courageous. So of good courage. And that's the kind of thing that I remind myself. Don't be frightened. Don't be dismayed. Okay, so, and it says, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So you have to understand that when you are aligned with the right purpose, doing it for the right reasons, then you're going to, doesn't mean you're not going to have any challenges, but it's going to work out for you one way or the other. And when I say one way or the other, even if it doesn't work out, let's say, the way you hoped, you will have learned something that will allow you to still go to another level, that will put you on a different road, that will take you to where you're supposed to go, okay, towards some kind of fulfillment that will end up in you winning. Remember, we're built by design to win. And the only reason we don't win is because we don't do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it. Okay. Or we listen to these outside voices and people that we don't even know that have an opinion about what we're doing and about our lives. Or sometimes we don't even step out and be bold with something that we're excited about because we don't want to hear other people's opinion, because we're thinking it might not be the opinion that I want. But you know what? At some point, you have to tell yourself, if I'm called to do this, I'm going to do it. And if they don't like it, well, you know what? If they're not going to cut me a check and pay my bills, yeah, I'm just going to do it. And as long as I'm not hurting someone, I'm still going to go ahead and do it. Now, does that sound a little cocky? It's okay, because sometimes you have to talk to yourself like that so that you can move forward. Because what happens is, as you start to move forward, you're going to find that it's not just to benefit you. You're here to serve. It's going to benefit people that you don't even know yet, that you haven't even met yet. Okay, so think about that. So that's what you can do. You kind of need to do an assessment to kind of wrap up. Do an assessment, okay, and say, okay, talk to yourself. God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but he did give me a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And what I'm doing is I'm giving you kind of a simplified version of what you can say to yourself, and kind of your checks and balances, what you want to look at. And so, or where you want to look. So what you can say is, okay, so he didn't give me a spirit of fear, but he did give me a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So let's see what's going on with my power. So you need to take a look at your energy. Are you being positive? Are you being negative? Okay. Who are you allowing to interfere with your journey? Who are you allowing to make you feel small? Or are you doing it yourself? Okay. And keep in mind, if you're doing this to yourself, I'm of the belief, I don't think babies come here thinking small. Okay. Babies come here thinking, you know what? I deserve to have it all. Feed me, change my diapers, make my life good. Okay. So we're taught not to want more. We're taught to settle. We're taught to think small. We're taught to go in a certain direction, because if you don't take control of your life, someone else will. And they'll send you in a direction that you perhaps don't even want to go. And so think about that. So, all right. So see what's going on with your power. Look at the people that and we've talked about this, about choosing your circle. And I've got something coming up, as I said, in September, but also towards the end of this week. I have some really good things that are coming up, and you're going to benefit from that. Because, you know, one of the things that you want to understand is that when you can surround yourself with people who are excited about winning, and people who are interested in winning and are not trying to be negative and talk people out of their dreams, you're going to find that it will take you to another level. So look at your power, and then even look at your love. Okay, who am I arguing with? Where's there strife? What do I feel guilty about? Look at all of these things and understand that you don't have to carry this kind of energy. You know, when people think about imposter syndrome, I think, and I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, but I don't think I really have to be. I'm a human being. And what I'm saying is, when you feel like you're an imposter, I think it's because a lot of times people are thinking, okay, who am I to share this with other people? Or who am I? Why am I so famous? Or not me personally, but you guys understand this is examples here. When people say these kinds of things about themselves, it's because they're drawing a conclusion about how the rest of the world sees them. So if that's you, that's one of the reasons why you're perhaps are not reaching out and giving your best. So when this happens, you have to make a decision about where you're headed and what you're going to do. A part of making a decision, that's where your sound mind comes into play. You know what? I've decided this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be. And I don't care about other people's criticisms. I don't care if other people try and tell me how to run my life. I don't care if people try to tell me, hey, why are you doing that? That's not smart. Okay. Now don't get me wrong. You must, as Proverbs says, seek wise counsel. And so wise counsel doesn't just tell you to shut it down. Wise counsel, even if it says, hey, that's not smart, they can tell you why, but they can also recommend a positive alternative. Okay, don't listen to anyone who talks you out of your dream. Stay away from that kind of thing. So look at those three things: power, love, and a sound mind. If you spend a lot of time in strife, and you know what? Gossip is a form of strife. Which is why in the beginning I mentioned that. I mentioned diseases, and I mentioned crimes, and I mentioned gossip, because it is a form of strife. It is a form of also envy and jealousy. And so think about these kinds of things and what it's doing to you. And that's what this is about. I can't think of anybody that I want to gossip about. Okay, and if I see some silly story on TV or some celebrity, I don't know, who's getting a divorce or doing something, these are human beings who work for a paycheck. Okay, and most of them are guessing. They may be working in their calling. They may love their life, but you know what? It's their life. It's not my place to sit back and judge them. I don't even know these people personally. Okay. And even if I did know them personally, I'm not so sure I would sit back and really kind of gossip about them. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. And to me, it's not even a feel good thing. Okay. It's a thing that says, you know what, because I'm feeling inadequate. I think, and I'm jealous of that person. Oh, look. I'm miserable, so I love company. They're miserable, so let me see if I can talk about them. It'll make me feel better. How ridiculous is that? What have you accomplished when you're doing that? And again, these things are centered around a type of fear. They all fall under fear. So think about these things when it comes to your goals. If you're not achieving your goals, be really honest about what you're doing, what's stopping you. And then make a decision about what you're going to do differently. When you get up tomorrow morning, ask yourself, hey, am I feeling powerful? And you know what? Sometimes even if the answer is no, okay, sometimes it's good to not dwell on it. If it's something that's small, you don't need to dwell on it and see if it passes. And sometimes it's something that you want to pay attention to and figure out what's going on with you. And as I used to always say, get that thing fixed and keep moving forward. Wait, I can't say I used to say it. I just said it. So with that being said, you guys, think about these things. And what would you do if you had no fear? And find a way to really power up and become extremely excited about where you're headed, and see that vision, see what achieving your goals looks like. Okay, if you say, well, I haven't achieved it, you don't have to. That's the beautiful part about being a human being. Remember, that's a part of being built by design to win. You have an imagination. You can see what it's going to feel like. You can imagine it, and then you can feel it. Okay, and of course, I always have to remind people and that even though you can do those things, you still have to do the work, because you can imagine something all day long. It's not going to show up. Well, you know what? I have to take that back. I don't really know. Let's just say you got to put some action behind it. Okay, no, it really won't. Yes, I do. The Bible says faith without works is dead. Okay, so imagine it, get the feeling, and then do the work and just go for it. Don't overthink it. Sometimes that allows fear. Overthinking is a kind of a part of not having confidence in a situation. And so when you don't have that kind of confidence in a situation, then what happens is fear starts to grow. So what would you do if you had no fear? Pick one thing. I said to make a list. So pick one thing off of that list and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on accomplishing this one thing. And I can assure you, when you accomplish that one thing, you're going to be super excited about accomplishing the rest. Okay, you're going to realize how capable you are, how powerful you are. And then you're going to finally believe what I'm saying when I say do life with power, knowing that you're built by design to win.